The shocking truth behind the food that ages you fast. Every single day, millions of people eat this one food, believing it's completely harmless. I did too, for years. It was part of my breakfast, my snacks, even my healthy meals. But then something strange started happening. My skin looked dull, I felt constantly tired, and even my mind felt older. At first I blamed stress, lack of sleep, maybe genetics. But deep down, something didn't add up. So I started investigating, reading studies, testing my diet, tracking how I felt. And what I discovered completely shocked me. There's one specific food that silently accelerates aging in your skin, your brain, and even your internal organs. It damages your collagen, spikes your blood sugar, and triggers inflammation that can make you look and feel 10 years older. The crazy part? It's not junk food, soda, or candy. It's something most people still think is healthy. By the end of this video, you'll not only know exactly what this food is, you'll understand how it tricks your body into aging faster, and what you can do today to reverse the damage and start looking and feeling younger than ever. The hidden enemy on my plate. For most of my life, I thought I was doing the right thing. I exercised, I stayed away from junk food, and every morning I'd eat what I believed was a healthy breakfast. You know that classic morning routine. Maybe you've done it too. You wake up, pour yourself a bowl of whole grain cereal, maybe add some fruit, a splash of low-fat milk, or perhaps you grab a slice of toast with a little bit of honey. It feels light, it feels healthy, it feels responsible. But that one responsible choice, that one daily habit, was secretly making me age years faster than I should. At first, it was just little things. I'd wake up tired, even after 8 hours of sleep. My skin lost its glow, it looked pale, almost lifeless. And then there was my face in the mirror. Fine lines that weren't there before. A dryness that no moisturizer could fix. People around me started saying, "You look tired lately," or "Are you stressed?" And I'd laugh it off, but deep down I knew something was off. I didn't drink much. I didn't smoke. I exercised. I was doing everything right. So why did my body feel like it was aging faster than my years? Then came the energy crashes. Every afternoon, like clockwork, I'd feel drained. Eyes heavy, brain fog thick. It got to the point where coffee stopped helping. I was always chasing energy and never catching it. That's when I realized something had to change. So I started tracking everything. My meals, my sleep, even my mood. And that's when I noticed a strange pattern. The days I ate that healthy breakfast, I always felt worse. My energy dipped sooner. My skin looked puffier. My mood was unstable. At first, I thought, no way. It's just breakfast. But the more I dug into research, the more it made sense. I came across a study from a European journal that explained how certain foods, especially those high in refined carbohydrates, cause something called glycation. Now, here's where it gets shocking. When sugar molecules from your food enter your bloodstream, they start attaching to proteins and fats in your body. Those sticky sugar protein clumps are called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, and they do exactly what their name suggests. They age you from the inside out. These AGEs stiffen your collagen, the very protein that keeps your skin smooth, your joints flexible, and your organs functioning. They create microscopic scar tissue that builds up in your arteries, your kidneys, even your brain. In other words, every bite of that so-called healthy food was slowly cooking my body from the inside, just like how heat browns bread or caramelizes sugar. The same chemical reaction that gives toast its golden crust was happening inside me, and when I discovered what food was behind it, I was stunned. Because it wasn't fried chicken or soda or candy. It was refined grains, the kind found in whole grain cereals, granola bars, and yes, even that slice of toast I thought was so innocent. Here's what no one tells you. Refined grains and sugars break down into glucose almost instantly. That glucose spikes your blood sugar and floods your cells with excess energy they can't use. The result? Inflammation, oxidation, and glycation, the unholy trinity of premature aging. It explained everything. The dull skin, the constant fatigue, the brain fog, even the stubborn belly fat. All signs of accelerated aging, driven by one silent culprit I'd been eating for years. I remember sitting there, reading those studies, feeling both angry and betrayed. All my life, I'd trusted healthy marketing. I'd followed the food pyramid, and yet the very foods promoted as heart-healthy and low-fat were actually destroying the health of my heart and the youth of my body. That was the day I made a promise to myself. I was done being misled by labels and advertisements. I was going to find out exactly how this food damages our cells, and what happens when you remove it completely. Little did I know, that decision would trigger one of the most incredible transformations of my life. Because within just weeks of cutting it out, my energy came back, my skin started glowing again, and people around me began asking what I was doing differently. But before we get to that, you need to understand why this food is so powerful in aging you. Because once you see what it does inside your body, you'll never look at your breakfast the same way again. The science of aging from the inside out. When I first heard the term glycation, I'll be honest, it sounded like another complicated science word that only doctors cared about. But the more I studied it, the more I realized this is the missing link that explains why millions of people are aging faster than ever before. Without even realizing it, you see, aging isn't just about time. It's not just about your genetics or how many birthdays you've had. It's about what's happening inside your cells. And the shocking truth is, most people are walking around with bodies that are literally being slow cooked from the inside out. Here's what I mean. Every time you eat, your body breaks down the food into energy, mainly in the form of glucose. That glucose is essential. It fuels your brain, your muscles, and every cell in your body. But when there's too much glucose floating around, which happens when you eat refined carbs, processed grains, or sugar, something dangerous begins to happen. Those sugar molecules start to attach themselves to proteins and fats in your blood. And when they bond, they form those sticky compounds we talked about earlier, advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. Think of AGEs as little microscopic rust spots forming all over your body. They build up on your collagen, making your skin stiff and less elastic. They collect in your blood vessels, making them harder and narrower. They even damage your brain by interfering with the proteins that keep your neurons strong and flexible. And here's the wild part. This damage doesn't just make you look older, it makes you feel older too. Ever notice how your joints feel stiffer, your recovery slower, or your energy lower as the years go by? A big part of that isn't just aging. It's glycation silently breaking down your body's structure, molecule by molecule. Now let's zoom in for a second. Inside every cell in your body, you have tiny energy factories called mitochondria. They're the reason you can move, think, and breathe. But ages, along with chronic high blood sugar and inflammation, attack those mitochondria directly. They clog the system. They overload it. And eventually your cells stop producing energy efficiently. That's when fatigue sets in. That's when your skin loses that youthful glow. That's when your brain starts feeling foggy. Because your body isn't running out of youth, it's running out of cellular energy. Scientists now believe this mitochondrial dysfunction is one of the biggest drivers of aging. And it all starts with one thing. The foods you eat every single day. Let's break this down even further. Imagine your body as a high-performance engine. When you give it clean fuel, like proteins, healthy fats, and fiber, it burns smoothly. But when you pour in cheap, sugary, refined fuel, it starts to sputter, overheat, and corrode. The smoke builds up inside the engine, and over time, it breaks down. That's what's happening inside millions of people right now. And most don't even realize it's happening because it's invisible. It doesn't show up overnight. It builds slowly, silently, year after year. Now here's the most shocking part of all. Ages are not just produced inside your body. They're also present in many of the foods you eat. That golden brown crust on toast, that crispy sear on your favorite healthy snack, that roasted flavor you love. Those are all signs of glycation happening during cooking. It's literally the same chemical reaction that happens inside your body. The Maillard reaction, The process that makes bread brown and meat taste amazing is the exact process that ages your cells when it happens internally. So, if you're constantly eating foods that are already loaded with AGs, you're feeding your body pre-made aging compounds and adding fuel to the fire. Now, when I learned that, I had one big question. If glycation and AGs are accelerating aging so much, can you reverse it? That's what led me down the path to uncover the most powerful anti-aging tool of all. Not a cream, not a pill, but a shift in how your body produces and uses energy. Because once you understand how to reduce glycation, protect your mitochondria, and balance your blood sugar, you don't just slow aging, you rewind it, and that's exactly what I started doing. I changed the way I cooked, the way I combined foods, and even the time I ate them. And within weeks, something incredible started happening. My skin felt smoother. My focus improved. I wasn't crashing in the afternoons anymore. For the first time in years, I felt younger, and not just on the outside, but on a cellular level. In the next chapter, I'll show you exactly how that transformation began and reveal the everyday food that triggers this whole chain reaction of glycation, inflammation, and accelerated aging. The food that tricks your body into aging, and how I finally stopped eating it. It took me years to realize that the food that was aging me wasn't something exotic or obviously bad. It wasn't candy, soda, or greasy fast food. It was something I'd been told was good for me my entire life. I used to eat it every morning, sometimes twice a day. It came in colorful boxes with words like wholesome, fortified, heart-healthy, low-fat, and made with whole grains. It sounded perfect, right? But behind those friendly labels, behind those comforting commercials with smiling families and bright kitchens, was the #1 food that speeds up aging inside your body. Refined grains and processed breakfast. Cereals, that's right. The very food that's marketed as a healthy start to your day is one of the most damaging things you can put into your body if you want to stay young. Let me explain why. When you eat refined grains, like bread, cereal, granola bars, crackers, or even healthy oat products that are overly processed, your body breaks them down into glucose almost instantly. Your blood sugar spikes, insulin rushes in to control it, and your cells get flooded with more energy than they can handle. That extra sugar doesn't just disappear. It starts attaching itself to your proteins and fats, creating AGs, those same compounds we talked about before. And the more frequently you eat these foods, the faster those AGs accumulate in your skin, arteries, and brain. Here's something most people don't realize. When your blood sugar rises sharply several times a day, even if you're not diabetic, you're accelerating the aging of your cells. Every spike triggers a tiny burst of oxidative stress. Your body releases inflammatory molecules to deal with the excess sugar, and that inflammation becomes chronic, silent, slowly wearing down your organs from the inside. That's why people who live on a modern diet of cereal, toast, pasta, and snacks often look and feel older than their age, because their bodies are trapped in a cycle of glycation and inflammation, and it's happening 3 times a day every time they eat. I used to laugh at the idea that food could change how old you looked. But then I saw it happen in the mirror. Within just months of quitting refined grains, my skin tone changed. It was like someone had turned the lights back on inside me, so I started digging deeper into why, and what I found blew my mind. See, those processed breakfast foods, especially the low-fat ones, are stripped of everything your body actually needs. The healthy fats, the fiber, the natural minerals. What's left is a concentrated dose of starch and sugar disguised as nutrition. That means your body doesn't get the tools to repair itself. Instead, it's constantly stuck in damage control, trying to manage the sugar rush, the insulin spike, the oxidative stress. Over time, that stress literally weakens your collagen, slows your metabolism, and makes your mitochondria, your energy engines, burn out faster. It's a perfect recipe for aging. And here's the ironic part. For decades, we were told to avoid fat and load up on grains. That advice created an entire generation of people who are eating health foods that make them look and feel older. Now, when I finally decided to quit these foods, It wasn't easy. They're addictive. They give you that quick boost of energy, the dopamine rush, followed by a crash that makes you crave them all over again. The first week I felt terrible. Headaches, cravings, mood swings, but I knew my body was detoxing. It was learning how to burn fat again instead of sugar. And when it finally did, everything changed. My hunger stabilized. My skin looked healthier. I could go hours without needing a snack. My focus, my sleep, my mood, everything improved. I realized that by removing one simple food group, I wasn't just changing my diet, I was changing the way my body aged. Here's the thing, you don't have to give up every carb. You just need to get rid of the fake ones, the refined, processed, industrial grains that are stripped of their natural nutrients. When you replace them with real, whole foods like eggs, avocado, vegetables, nuts, and unprocessed meats, your body starts to heal. The inflammation fades. Your mitochondria come back online. Your skin starts to rebuild collagen naturally. That's when aging slows down, sometimes even reverses. I used to think looking younger was about creams and serums. Now I know it starts with something much deeper. The food you choose to fuel your cells. In the next chapter, I'll show you the simple swaps I made, how I rebuilt my meals, retrained my metabolism, and gave my body the chance to restore itself. And the results were nothing short of life-changing. How I rebuilt my diet, the anti-aging blueprint that changed everything. When I finally gave up refined grains and processed foods, I knew I couldn't just remove things, I had to replace them with something better. Because here's the truth, you can't fight aging by restriction alone. You fight it by rebuilding your body, cell by cell, with the right fuel. So I began a complete reset. No fancy supplements, no complicated diets, just real, natural food, the kind our ancestors thrived on before food marketing took over the grocery store. I remember cleaning out my pantry one Sunday morning. Boxes of cereal, crackers, granola bars, instant oats, pasta, breads, all gone. And as I looked at the empty shelves, I felt something powerful, clarity. For the first time, I wasn't confused about what to eat. I was going back to the basics, foods that exist in nature, not in factories. Meal 1, rebuilding the morning. From sugar rush to cellular fuel, the biggest change started at breakfast. Instead of reaching for a box, I started reaching for real food. I swapped cereal for eggs cooked in olive oil or grass-fed butter. Sometimes I'd add avocado slices, spinach, or a handful of nuts for crunch and minerals. That one simple change, from processed carbs to healthy fats and proteins, completely flipped my energy levels. For the first time in years, I didn't crash mid-morning. My hunger disappeared for hours. My mind felt focused, calm, and sharp, the exact opposite of that foggy, anxious feeling I used to have after eating healthy cereal. What I later learned is that this wasn't just a feeling, it was chemistry. By eating real fats and proteins instead of refined carbs, I was lowering my insulin response, reducing glycation, and training my body to burn fat for fuel instead of sugar. That shift from sugar burner to fat burner is one of the most powerful anti-aging transformations you can experience, because when your body uses fat for energy, it produces fewer free radicals. That means less oxidative stress, less cellular damage, and fewer ages forming inside your body. In other words, every meal became a small anti-aging treatment from the inside out. Meal 2, rebuilding the midday, feeding your cells, not your cravings lunch, became my cell nourishment time. I built every meal around fiber, color, and healthy fat. A big salad with dark leafy greens, arugula, kale, spinach became my base. Then I'd add some protein, wild-caught salmon, grilled chicken, or grass-fed beef. For fats, I used extra virgin olive oil and sometimes added pumpkin seeds or a few slices of avocado. Every ingredient had a purpose. Greens provided magnesium and chlorophyll, both vital for cellular energy. Olive oil was packed with polyphenols that protected my arteries and skin, and protein provided the amino acids to rebuild collagen and muscle. When you eat this way, something amazing happens. Your cravings disappear. You stop needing constant snacks because your blood sugar is stable, your hormones are balanced, and your mitochondria are finally running efficiently. I remember one afternoon, about 2 weeks into this new routine, I realized I hadn't thought about food in hours. No cravings, no afternoon crash, just steady, calm energy. That's when I knew this wasn't a diet. It was a recalibration of my biology. Meal 3. Rebuilding the evening. Recovery and renewal dinner was simple but intentional. I focused on foods that supported rest, repair, and recovery. A piece of grass-fed lamb or wild-caught fish, cooked gently to avoid creating ages from high heat. Steamed vegetables with a drizzle of olive oil or grass-fed butter. And a small portion of fermented foods, like yogurt or sauerkraut, to restore gut health. I even started adding cinnamon to some of my meals, since studies show it can help regulate blood sugar and improve insulin sensitivity, another crucial anti-aging benefit. Over time, my entire relationship with food changed. I stopped thinking about calories and started thinking about cellular signals. Every bite was either feeding my mitochondria or fighting them. And when you start eating with that awareness, aging becomes optional. My skin regained elasticity. My sleep became deeper. My energy returned, steady, calm, powerful. And most importantly, I felt in control of my body again. It wasn't about restriction or perfection. It was about giving my body what it was designed to thrive on. Real food, real nutrients, real energy. Now, whenever people ask me, "What's your secret?" I tell them it's not a secret at all, it's science. When you stop feeding your body the things that make it age and start nourishing it the way nature intended, your body does something incredible. It heals itself. In the next chapter, I'll share the visible results of this transformation, what changed in my skin, my mind, and my overall vitality, and how anyone, at any age, can experience the same. Visible results. What happened? After 30 days of eating for longevity, it's amazing how much can change in just 30 days. Not just how you look, but how you feel, how you think, how you live. When I started this journey, I wasn't chasing perfection. I wasn't trying to get six-pack abs or look like a model. All I wanted was to feel alive again, to wake up with energy, to look in the mirror and see myself, not the tired, bloated version I had gotten used to. The first week was rough. My body was detoxing, flushing out years of sugar, inflammation, and processed junk. Headaches, cravings, mood swings. It was all part of the process. But around day 7, something shifted. I woke up one morning, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel heavy. My mind was clear. My energy felt clean, and that's when the real transformation began. Week 2, the return of energy and focus. During the second week, I noticed something incredible. My energy no longer came in spikes and crashes. It was steady, like a quiet, powerful current running through me all day. I wasn't relying on caffeine anymore. My focus improved. Tasks that used to drain me suddenly felt easy. I wasn't distracted, anxious, or hungry all the time. It felt like someone had turned the noise down in my brain and turned the lights back on. Science explains exactly why this happens. When your body stops depending on sugar and starts burning fat for energy, your mitochondria become more efficient. They produce energy with fewer toxins, fewer free radicals, and less oxidative stress. That means every cell in your body, from your skin to your brain, starts performing better. Week 3. The skin transformation. By the third week, people started noticing. Friends said, "Your skin looks different. What are you using?" But the truth is, I wasn't using anything new. I had simply removed what was destroying my collagen and replaced it with what helps rebuild it. My skin tone evened out. The dullness was gone. Fine lines around my eyes softened. There was a glow, not from makeup or lighting, but from within, and it wasn't magic. It was metabolism. Every cell in your skin relies on collagen, elastin, and proper hydration. When you stop bombarding your body with sugar and ages, your cells finally get a chance to repair themselves. Inflammation goes down, collagen production goes up, and blood flow to the skin improves. That's what gives that younger look, not a cream, but a cellular reset. Week 4, strength, sleep, and mental clarity. By week 4, everything started aligning. My workouts felt effortless. I had stamina again. My sleep improved drastically. I was falling asleep faster, sleeping deeper, and waking up refreshed. But perhaps the biggest change wasn't physical. It was mental. I felt confident again, grounded, like I had reclaimed a version of myself I thought was gone for good. I didn't need willpower anymore. I had momentum. And once you feel that, there's no going back. I remember looking in the mirror at the end of the month. The face looking back wasn't just younger, it was alive. The puffiness was gone. The spark was back in my eyes. Even my posture changed. I stood taller, breathed deeper, smiled more. That's when it hit me. Aging isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we can influence every single day with the choices we make. This wasn't about vanity or diet trends. It was about energy, vitality, and freedom. Freedom from fatigue, from inflammation, from that slow decline most people accept as getting older. And the best part? It didn't take a miracle. It just took 30 days of eating the way my body was designed to eat. When you align your food with your biology, your body rewards you with energy, focus, glowing skin, and a mind that feels clear and sharp again. So if you've ever looked in the mirror and thought, I feel older than I should, I want you to know, it's not too late. You can turn it around. You can look and feel years younger than you do right now, because I did. And if I could, after years of eating all the wrong things, then so can you. The choice that keeps you young. Looking back now, it's hard to believe how much one simple decision changed everything. It wasn't a supplement. It wasn't a magic pill. It wasn't even about dieting. It was about awareness, realizing that the food I was eating every single day was quietly deciding how fast I aged. And when I took back control of that choice, my body did something I never thought possible. It started to heal. My skin looked younger. My energy came back. My mind felt sharper. But beyond all that, I felt something I hadn't felt in years: peace. Because I finally understood. Aging isn't something that just happens to you. It's something your body responds to. And you have more control over it than you think. Every bite you take sends a message to your cells. That message can say repair or decay. It can say youth or age. And that choice? It happens every single day, on your plate. So if you take anything from my story, let it be this. You don't need perfection and you don't need expensive products. All you need is a little awareness and the courage to start. Start by removing the foods that silently age you. Feed your body what it was designed to thrive on. And watch how it rewards you with youth, energy, and vitality you thought were long gone, because your body is not your enemy. It's your greatest ally if you listen to it. And if this video inspired you, take a second to support this message. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Because the truth is, aging well isn't luck. It's a choice, and it starts right now.